Here's the deal, Max. Here's what you're missing. You're not highlighting how bad Kawhi is in terms of leadership. See, it'd be one thing if you were just some normal dude, and you just didn't happen, you didn't have that rah-rah personality, but you went out and you played as exceptionally well as he plays for the most part. But when you are the complete antithesis of that, where it's national news that you actually laughed at a press conference. Actually laughed. Because you laughed, it was national news. Because they've never seen anything from your personality. Because you're you have a penchant for giving one-liners and being gone. Because even when you're a star, people barely talk to you because you pretty much have nothing to say. You literally could work for the CIA. I mean, they look at you like that. It's a different animal with Kawhi Leonard. And when you are that extreme with your willingness to be a little bit, not extremely quiet, non-communicative, no rah-rah and stuff like that, that's where it's taken to another level because it goes in the opposite direction. When you pay a guy superstar dollars and pay him max dollars, it's not just because of his ability to perform on the court. It's because of the ability he has to galvanize the folks around him. Tim Duncan, with his quiet personality, he was quiet to the media. He wasn't quiet to his teammates. He was a jokester. He played around. He had a great personality. You look at Steph, you look at LeBron, you look at others. There's a difference. That ain't Kawhi. That's a problem.
I'm not disputing that, guys. I'm saying who would be the better leader. In other words, do you have a chance to win a championship if Paul George is the leader of your team? I think the answer is no. But Kawhi's won 2 championships, and both times he was the MVP. And whether or not he was the leader,
he wasn't asked to be a leader
on that Spurs team. They gave him the MVP. On the Toronto team, who was the leader? You want to say Kyle Lowry? At the very least, Kawhi.
Hell yeah!
If you said Kawhi led the Raptors to the championship, that wouldn't be a lie. If Paul George ain't going to lead you to a championship, like if he's the leader, you're running up the white flag. So far in his career, maybe it can change, but it hasn't been the case so far. And it's been largely a result of his play in the playoffs. I take no pleasure in saying that. I love Paul George. I love watching him play. But
they were down 3-1. They were down 3-1. Paul George had 26 and 33 before the game 7. You talking about one game. Well, that same one game, your leader didn't show up. Kawhi Leonard didn't show up either.
I'm talking about, by the way, you're right, although Kawhi wasn't hitting the backboard from a corner 3. But you're right, Kawhi had a bad Game 7. There's so few bad performances from Kawhi throughout the years in the playoffs.
Go ahead, KP.
Paul George, there are many games, including in these last playoffs, where he didn't show up.
But
Go ahead, KP.
Max, you keep talking about what's going on the court. A leader is more than just playing basketball, Max. Leadership is everything. The whole is making everybody feel comfortable, everybody feel whole. Being able to address situations when things are not going well for you, but things are going well for the team. That's a real leader. Kawhi Leonard is not pulling no one to the side. If Reggie Jackson is having is going through a shooting slump or having a bad 10 games, you think Kawhi Leonard is pulling Reggie Jackson to the side and having a conversation with him? Hell no. Paul George is. Max, that's a leader. It's only one way to paint a leader. It's not just show up and produce 25 and 9 and everybody else do what the hell y'all got to do. Just follow my lead for as my skill set, because everyone is not skilled like Kawhi, but a leader has to be vocal. Has to be vocal. If you ask anybody around the NBA,
but actually,
who's their leader in their locker room, what's their leader in the locker room? Just like in Golden State, Steph is not their leader. Draymond Green is their leader. He's the one that's doing all the talking. He's the vocal guy. He's the one that we hear all the time. Although Steph is the culture, he's the franchise, but he's not the leader. It's a difference.
What I would point out is teams where the leader is not the best player are in a tougher situation than teams where they are. By the way, Steph Curry is not the leader on the team. They were lucky to win one championship against the Cavs before KD showed up and created a power imbalance in the NBA where it was impossible for them to lose. Maybe that has something to do with it. But besides that, this is not a great choice. A dilemma is not just a tough choice. It's a choice between two bad options. These, if you want to paint Kawhi that way, and you may be right, he's incapable of doing it based on your experience, Perk, just showing up and leading by example. He has to be more vocal. It's not in him. Well, then Kawhi is not a good choice, but neither is Paul George. The question is, which leader can lead you to a title? That may be. That's why I think we all thought they should have gotten Rondo. They needed a guy like that. And maybe neither one of these guys are. If I had to choose between the two, give me the guy with 2 finals MVPs, not the guy with a reputation for going away in the playoffs.
Well, let's go to your guy, Max. Let's go to your guy, because this same Kawhi Leonard, you ain't never heard those complaints about LeBron. You ain't never heard those complaints about other leaders. You see guys complaining about him all the time. Well, privately, off the record and all of this other stuff. Why are they doing that? Because apparently, outside of his game, he's having a negative effect on the franchise, or at least he did last year.
Yeah, it could
but, Max, you can't move the goal.
You could argue he had a negative effect, although he... Go ahead.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.